Hello everyone, it is me, DeoGenZ, back in Pewter City, here to play Pokemon Crystal walkthrough with you. We're going down Route 2 today into what is now the somewhat barren and very small looking maze of Viridian Forest. This shrubbery area used to be the whole forest. Look, it's got the maze, it's got the path, it even has some secret hidden items that you could use your item finder for if you want to ping around with that clumsy thing. I never care for it in this generation. It was much better in the 5th gen when they did it, but hey, it's still pretty cool. Got some fruit-bearing trees, and you could actually see that dude's house from the forest now. But it was such a larger forest back in red, blue, and yellow. Oh man, it sucks that it's really just turned into shrubs. I like how it's a small facsimile of the maze that you went through as a kid. Figures were all out of item space. You didn't even have to go through checkpoints anymore. It's just a shrubbery maze. But that was indeed where Viridian Forest was, and how small it is. And since I don't want this to be a short episode, I'm going to have these battles with the regular trainers, for a change, at full speed. This way we could hear the battle music, hear the cries of the Pokemon, and get to listen to the smackdown of the attacks and epicness of Psychic! But also I want to reminisce a bit. This path really was forged by many a Pokemon trainer. Many a Pokemon trainer went the reverse way that we're going today, in another generation, starting out on their own journey, leading to masters today. I know many Pokemon masters who have started out in the 1st gen, going up this route, that very route, and exploring the forest. It's as if Crystal's Viridian Forest version was made small, as if to do sort of a nostalgic reminiscing effect on you, where now everyone's older, at least maybe 5 years older, whenever the difference is for people playing it and getting a hold of Crystal. For me, it was no difference because this was my first game, and then I went back and found, whoa, Viridian Forest was a lot larger than this. But for many people, it's almost as if, oh yeah, when we were kids, the woods looked so much bigger. And it's funny because that really reigns true. The woods in New Jersey now, to me, I mean, it may be because of excess development in the area and everywhere being turned into lousy apartments that nobody has any money to buy. Seriously, they're plowing down more forests just to make expensive apartment living that haven't even been purchased in the other development areas. It is pretty sickening, but deforestation or not, when I was younger and really didn't know how to navigate the woods, didn't know my sense of navigation, really how to memorize where I was going, it was just kind of a blind shot in the dark and we'll see where we head. And that's what adventures were. But then you go through the woods now, as I am 20 years old now, they don't appear as large to me now as they did when I was younger. What used to take me an hour of exploration out in the woods, I can now go through in maybe a mere 10 minutes. It's kind of interesting because that's what Pokemon was founded on. I did a research paper in college, that's right, college research paper, Pokemon college research paper for the win, about the whole genesis of the thing and about some interviews I read with Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon, and he said this game was basically a modeling in the digital world of what he did when he was a kid in Japan, when it wasn't as industrialized as it is today. A lot more areas, I should say, of Japan were rural, and he hadn't moved into the arcades to see the video games that he would eventually himself help program. And it was all about collecting bugs. That was his nickname, even Dr. Bug, his friends would call him, because he would collect so many beetles, he would get them all under a hot rock. Apparently the beetles in Japan like to sun themselves, and he would capture them all. Gotta catch them all. That's where that craze started from. Started from Tajiri as a kid, capturing beetles. I should have stopped at the Pokemon Center in Viridian City. I mean, now we're not going back. Now we can't jump the ledge backwards. I could just hit the rewind, but nah, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I don't want to go all the way back when we're already headed down to Pallet Town, where is going to be where that will be our next port to our next badge. We'll have to eventually head to Pallet Town after this is all said and done, the badge collecting, but that won't be for another couple episodes. So we've got more adventures to be had. With Jinx! Of course it's purple. Don't want to start any race riots or wars or offend anyone over a Pokemon, but that's fine. It's fine. Did Staten Island take offense to the Trubbish and Garbodor Pokemons? I just want to know, because that's what those areas are known for. Trash. And Electabuzz, why aren't you at the power plant? We had to restore that thing all ourselves, and with the help of Vladimir Z, all ourselves and Vlad Z, and you could have just plugged your fists into Kanto's power plant and it would have been good to go. You selfish bastard. That's why you have to die to the Earthquake. It's awesome that Typhlosion can learn Earthquake, and it makes sense too, because his name, Typhlosion, is an explosion, a volcanic explosion at that. And you know volcanic explosions are massive. Hi, Butthead. You like an earthquake too? I bet you would. So massive that once they erupt, it can create fissures in the ground miles wide and miles deep. Crazy! And then lava could possibly plume up from that. You do not want to be in the area of an exploding volcano. You're doomed. You're doomed. And that's the idea behind Typhlosion. You're doomed when you face him! Yeah, sorry, Dana Lass. This phone does not accept calls anymore from anyone. It's called the Edit, and you are not allowed to be in it. Oh, neither are you, wild Pokemon. Get out of my Pokemon radio. Am I going to actually have Pokemon show up in a Pokemon walkthrough? That would be absurdity. Well, get ready to get kooky, because it's a battle with Pokemon. Yeah, I know. But what was your first trainer? What was your first trainer? Backwards brain fart, but what was your first Pokemon when you started out as a new beginner trainer in Red, Blue, and Yellow, since we are headed back to Pallet Town, and this Ivysaur is an evolution of one of the starters being Bulbasaur. What was your first? I do believe that I started out with a Bulbasaur myself, and the second time I did Squirtle, and then finally I tried Charmander. And I'm not sure... No, actually, you know what? No, backwards. I started out with Charmander because that's why I got Red in the first place. Me being a Pokemon noob, I thought, oh, Red, there's the Charizard, that means this is the only game you can get this Pokemon in. A derp. I didn't know. I really had not a clue, and I was out of the Pokemon mainstream phenomenon for a while. I wandered back to Red after Crystal. So, you know, me not knowing, I'm like, well, I got Crystal and I got this Suicune Pokemon, so if I get Red, then I'm going to get that Dragon Charizard Pokemon on the box. Seemed to follow logic, and I got it. But I was very shocked. I was like, what happened to the color? Should I go back to the game store? Is it broken? I had no idea that Red came before Crystal, and that was an evolution of that game, but oh boy, that was funny. Took me a while to adjust to it. At first I was very discontent at the moment. I thought I did something wrong. Maybe I inserted the cartridge in the wrong way. I don't know. But either way, I started with a Charmander, and I'm sure many others did. I know anyone who had Pokemon Red practically always had a Charizard on their team. You always would despise those people who had all three of the starters somehow. And they didn't even trade with anyone, they just had a Action Replay or a Game Shark being all like, yeah, I'm cool, I got all the starters. Yeah, you're cool, you just wasted money on a game that doesn't have any real impact. How does that make you feel? Well, I got Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard. Yeah, all I need is Charizard to win. So, as I suspected, Professor Oak is not that pleased with our Pokedex, but that's just fine. We're not here to please Oakster. Oh no, we are here to, in the next episode, travel to Cinnabar Isle and see Blaine.